Hariom, we're going to start with a little bit of English this morning. Okay, so put aside all your Sanskrit hats and just listen for English class now. This sentence or this phrase, I do not know. When someone wants to say they don't know, do they say I do not know? That's how we talk in English. I do not know. No. Likely they'll say something like, they'll even write something like, I don't know. Correct? Now, you take this one step further. When you're talking to somebody and you want to say, you don't know, you say it like that. I don't know. If someone doesn't know how to write yet these words, like a little child, you know the little children who try to write sentences and words? They will write something like, you're saying, I don't know. This is how they will spell it, isn't it? By listening to you. I don't know. Now the teacher will say, no, 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 this is not how you write it. You write it like this. You're wrong again. Poor child is only listening to the sound. Right? We don't say, I do not know. We don't say, I don't know. We say, I don't know. Right? But we mean I don't know, which means I do not know. Huh? Okay. Now see this other one. What do you want? You know, if you go to your mother or father or spouse and you look at them and you look like you're going to ask something and they look at you and say, what do you want? Well, you know, that's not the right time to ask what you want. Because if they're speaking like that and sounding every letter, something is wrong. How will we say this in normal parlance? If you listen, you will see we say something more like, what do you want? Correct or wrong? It sounds more like, what do you want? Not what do you want? What sounds angry? What do you want now? Okay, last one. Let me see. How do we say this in English? Let me see. We say, let me see. When you sound it out, it turns into actually, let me see. Isn't it? That's how we speak actually, no? Now see, if you wrote this in an English test or in an English essay, what would your teacher say to you? What's wrong with you? That's not how we spell. But that's what we're saying, but we have to write something else, isn't it? Now, actually, what is going on is naturally our mouth is connecting the words to say them in the easiest way possible. It is not natural to say, let me see. So naturally and effortlessly, it will come out as, let me see. If you analyze what is happening, this T is turning into an M because there's an M next to it. So it's easier to say, let me see, than let me see. For ease of pronunciation, the T is turned into an M. Huh? Now see this other one. What do you want? What happened again? The T is turned into a D because there's a D next to it. So it says, what do you want? That's an easier, simpler way for us to pronounce it. Same with this. I don't know. Even though there's a K here, it's actually a N. We don't say I don't know. I don't know. So the sound there is a N. So this th also changes into a N to match the N next to it. I don't know. This phenomenon of Words, when they are put next to each other, changing sounds for us to say it more easily, this phenomenon in English grammar is called sandhi. Sandhi is the word that is used even in English grammar to explain the phenomenon of sounds coming together and morphing to be able to be pronounced more easily. Actually, sandhi is a Sanskrit word. Sandhi is what we are going to be studying. But they don't have the concept even in English doesn't exist. They had to use the Sanskrit word to explain that concept in English grammar. Hmm? So, sandhi is the topic that we are going to be doing now. What is sandhi? Sandhi, I'll give you a note tomorrow on it. Today, I just want you to listen, pay attention, follow, catch the concept. Okay? What is sandhi? One second, let me change this setting. Okay. What is sandhi? Sandhi is what happened. Let me write it in Sanskrit also. Sandhi. Sandhi is what happens when two words come together and the sounds at the end of one word and the beginning of another word change a little bit so it becomes easier for us to say those two words next to each other. Sandhi is what happens for naturally when we say words together so we can pronounce them easily next to each other without sounding like robots. It's a more fluent pronunciation of words when we put them together. So basically, what is happening is you have one word here, whatever letter that word ends with, when it meets another word starting with whatever letter it starts with, the thing, the change that happens or the interaction that happens between the ending sound of the first word and the beginning sound of the second word, sometimes a little change happens in there. Huh? That change is what we call sandhi. That little combination, mixing kind of thing is what we call sandhi. Even in a rainbow, if you look and you zoom, you won't see like a stark ending of one line and a stark starting of one line. You'll see a little blend between the two where they meet. It's the same with sounds, where one word ends and another word begins. They kind of blend together for the sound to come out more smoothly. So the blending of sounds is really what the sandhi is. The blending of last sound and the first sound of the two words meeting. Okay, this is what sandhi is in concept. It is something that we do effortlessly in English. We don't even think about it. We don't even know the word exists, but we speak with sandhi rules. The only difference between Sanskrit and English is that in English, we say things that sound different from what we write, and we don't write out what we actually say. So we don't write with the applied sandhi rules. In Sanskrit, remember, we say exactly what we read and we write exactly what we say. So the sandhi rules are documented in Sanskrit. There's a rule. When a word with this sound meets a word with this sound, means one word ending with this sound meets a word starting with this sound, the change that happens between the two for you to say it more easily, this is the rule. And you always apply the rule when they meet. Then that way you can always break the rule when they separate. Huh? So sandhi is what happens when those sounds come together. Now in Sanskrit, you will have three types of sandhi. three types of sandhi. The first is vowel sandhi. Vowel sandhi means you have a word ending with a vowel, meeting another word starting with a vowel. Something happens to mix these two together. That is called vowel sandhi. Right? Simple. What is it? I'm just telling you a little bit theory before we start. The other type of sandhi we have is called consonant sandhi. Leave the Sanskrit words for now. We're using just English. Consonant sandhi. I think you can guess. Consonant sandhi will be you have a word ending in a consonant, meeting a word, starting with a consonant. And the interaction that happens between these two consonants is called consonant sandhi. So this, I don't know, what do you want, let me see, all of these will be considered consonant sandhi. Okay. The last type of sandhi is called visarga sandhi. I hope everybody remembers what visarga is. Visarga is that word, is that dot dot. The aha, ihi, uhu, like that. When a word has a visarga and it meets another word, any word, whether it has a vowel or a consonant, again a sandhi takes place over there. Some sound morphing happens over there. So these are the three types of sandhi you will find in Sanskrit. They all have documented rules to join and to break. They're very intuitive once you catch a hold of them, and they allow you to open up all the verses that you chant once you start to catch how sandhi works. Okay, so instead of talking more, let me give you all some examples. You know, one of the first prayers we say when we wake up in the morning, we look at our hands and we say, Karagre vasate Lakshmi. Karagre. That's the first word in that prayer, right? Karagre. Actually, there's no word in Sanskrit called Karagre. Huh? This is actually Kara Agre. At the front of the hand. Karagre. We're saying karagre like it is one word, but it is actually two words that are coming together to say more easily. Can you imagine you have to say kara agre vasate Lakshmi? It doesn't sound as smooth as karagre vasate Lakshmi, right? So to say it more smoothly, it gets joined together effortlessly. Now, what sound is joining here? A vowel or a consonant at the end of this word. Kara, kara. The last sound is a. That is a vowel. What is the sound over here? A. Again, it is a vowel. So you have a vowel meeting a vowel. And somehow they join together and they make one sound and they come together. So let me tell you now, we're going to do vowel sandhis today. Okay, vowel sandhis. I'm going to write in a little bit of a mathematical equation so that there's way less words used. Once you catch my math equation, you'll be able to follow the rest. Okay, so listen as I write. When you have a word ending with the sound a or a, when you have a word ending with the sound a or a, meeting a word starting with the sound or a. When you have a word ending with the sound or a, meeting a word starting with the sound or a, they join together and the two sounds together become a. So let's see that with this example. You have kara and you have agre. So you have a in this word meeting a in this word, and together they will make, according to this equation, a plus a equals a. That is why kara and agre becomes karagre. So the a in each gets replaced, and together they become a. Karagre. Does the a belong to the kar or the gre? To neither. It's a combination that holds the two together. Okay, let's see a couple of examples now. This is the rule. First rule, very simple rule. You will see it used profusely in the language. Okay, let's take a word like our ashram in Toronto is called Shiva Alaya. Alaya means abode and Shiva means Shiva. So, abode of Shiva. I want you all to write the sound that it ends with, Shiva ends with, plus the sound that Alaya starts with, and then what will it become? Everybody should try. Don't say, oh yeah, I'm going to Shiva Alaya today. That's not how you say it. Huh? What do we say? We have a word ending with a, meeting a word starting with a, and the rule is the two of them are going to combine and join to become a. So this word is not Shiva Alaya when we put it together. It is Shivalaya. Hard or easy? Easy. Huh? Okay, do one more. Vidya means knowledge. Alaya is abode. You know what is the abode of knowledge? School. The word for school is Vidya Alaya. So now you put it together. Don't just write the answer. Don't just say the answer. Actually put it together. Let me write it in. So you haven't. Okay, I'll give everyone 1 minute to try that out. Everybody should be writing, not just looking. Okay. So you have a word ending in a, meeting a word starting in a, and together they're going to join and become one a. So the word will become Vidyalaya. Not Vidyalaya. Some people say Vidyalaya. Huh? Vidyalaya. You know that person doesn't know Sanskrit when they say Vidyalaya. Vidyalaya. Okay, Vidyalaya is how it gets joined. Okay, easy or hard to follow? Easy. Sandhi is much easier than the other ones. Okay, now let us see another example. No, not another example, another rule. Rule number 2. When you have a word ending in it or e, meeting a word starting with it or e, together the sounds combine and form something. Oh, let's see, we'll guess. I'll give you an example. Kapi. Kapi means monkey. Ishvara means like Lord. Hmm? This word is ending with an I. This word is starting with the E. They're going to come together, and together they're going to make what sound? I hope everybody knows this word. Kapishvara. Who's Kapishvara? Hanumanji. Even though, I mean, really, Sugriva is the king of the monkeys, of the Vanaras. Hanumanji is called Kapishvara. Hmm? Kapishvara. So the rule is when you have a I or E meeting an I or E, those two sounds combine and become E. So now write this. Kapi plus Ishvara will become Kapishvara. Good. One more example. Um, Giri. Giri is mountain. And Ishvara is Lord. Giri and Ishvara will become what? This word ends with. Don't just write the answer. I want you to write the Sandhi rule each time. I plus E becomes E. So Giri and Ishvara will become Girishvara. Easy or hard? So far, so easy. Okay. I thought we would get through more today. Should we do one more rule? I think y'all can guess what the next rule will be. It's very guessable. If you have a word starting with u, ending with u or oo, meeting a word starting with u or oo, together they're going to combine and become ooh. Mhm. Oh, okay. So you have a word like guru, which doesn't have a translation. Meeting a word like uttama, uttamam. Uttama means best. Guru, uttamam. They're going to form one word. What is that? Means they're going to be pronounced as one word. Together, what will it be? Write it down. With the rule, O plus O equals U. Guru tamam. Guru tamam. Okay. Okay. This is Sandhi. This is the introduction to Sandhi. We didn't finish the ones I was hoping for today, so your homework, it'll be hard to do. Today's homework is Gita 1 point, I think we reached 12. Did we do 12? 1.12. Break up every single sound. You're going to need it for the next set of Sandhi rules. You're going to need to be able to break up the sounds. So 1.12, 1.13, actually do 2 verses and get back in practice of it. Okay, so homework today is to break up. If we did 12 already, then you do 13, 14. I'll check. Someone please check and see where we reached. If we reached 12 or 11 or what, right? I'll do closing prayer. And then I have one quick announcement. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Shri Sadgurnath Maharaj Ki Jai. I hope you all like Sandhi. It's very likable. um, quick